Okay, it's spinning up. Hello. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, and just having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but ready to go. Everything's good on your end, right, Sean?
You are live. You're
okay.
Good to go. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay. Yeah, I just confirmed with Sean that we were live. Everything looked a little different this time than it did before. So, looks like I'm freezing up a little bit too. Anyway, hi, AO Nation. Greg D'Amico here with Efficients, and back to do another mentorship session with you guys. Excited to share, got some good questions, and ready to jump in real briefly for new people. Just a quick few sentences about my history. I have a software company. We do a lot of mobile app, e-commerce, and a lot of SaaS application work, software as a service work. I've been doing that since 2004, and previous to that, I had an investment firm, grew a successful investment firm doing mutual funds, or starting a mutual fund and growing that to a top-ranked mutual fund in the country. Rode a wave up in the late 90s and rode it back down again in the 2000s and sold that off and got into software, and have been doing software-related activities for quite a while now. I have a team in India. And as I said, we do a lot of different application development. So custom work along with building some products. So being very entrepreneurial on my end with creating products and marketing those products. So that will apply to some of the questions you guys ask me. So here we go. Let's dig in. Okay. Let's see. Tim asked, what processes would you implement to build a culture with my freelancers as opposed to employees? I don't have employees yet, but I do have a few freelancers and want to get them on the same page. Okay, Tim, well, that is very appropriate. And even in the COVID-19 world that we're living in, having a lot of off-site, working remotely type teams is a huge aspect of what we're dealing with. Something I've been doing for a long time. I've gained somewhat of a success with it. There's always challenges in everything we do, but I've had quite a bit of that type of interaction and have worked through a lot of the challenges. So first thing I'll say about this question is culture, okay? You talked about building a culture, and that's a lot around creating alignment for the people that you're working with. I would recommend going to jimcollins.com. Jim Collins, if anybody out there has not read his book, which I consider the Bible of business, is Good to Great. Okay, that book will lay a huge foundation for you on how to help create a successful company. How some companies that were growing at a certain level and another comparable company doing the same industry, doing similar stuff, but there was a huge difference in performance. One company kind of like was even with the stock market. The other company rocketed up, doing multiples of 10, 20, 30 times what the other company did. So an example of that was back in the day when the book was written was CVS and Walmart, or Walgreens. And Walgreens just took off, and he does a bunch of different comparison scenarios like that you guys will really learn from and get some feedback. But one of the key aspects of what Jim Collins talks about is how to build a culture, how to look at your core values, your core purpose, and look at a BHAG, which is your big, hairy, audacious goal to help create alignment around any team, whether it's you're working remotely with a group and so forth. When you guys have a purpose that you're working on together, you have a why, then it helps to create a common direction. You can think of a good BHAG was one when John F. Kennedy said in the early 60s, like 1961, that we're going to put a man on the moon in the next decade, so by 1970. And they accomplished that goal because they aligned everybody in the space program and in government around this one goal, and everybody came together, focused, and pointed in the same direction and made it happen. So defining the culture, I guess, with who you are, and then you would want to go out and make sure you're working with freelancers that meet your same type of cultural core values and purpose. Okay, you said getting them on the same page. When we hire people, a key to this cultural thing is to hire people that meet our core values and who we are as a company. So whatever your identity is, Tim, you would want to look at that, and from there you would want to go ahead and consider those people that represent who you are. And sometimes we get close, sometimes we don't. But when you do have somewhat of an alignment. You know, people know who you are. You'll be attract those type of people into your world that would be better for you to work with. So the other thing I'd say about that is to set up rhythms. Okay, anytime you're creating with a group of people that are in the same place or a group of people that are not in the same place, I would be setting up a rhythm of meetings and interactions. So a process that I followed over years is something called the Rockefeller habits, where you talk about having setting goals for 3 to 5 years, a BHAG type goal, and goals for 3 to 5, 1 year goals, quarterly goals. And then to get to those goals, you set up meetings that are monthly, weekly, and even daily huddles. Daily huddles are very important to create alignment. That I've seen and experienced huddles in different companies around the country and around the world. And it's phenomenal to see the power that they have of bringing people together, getting alignment, taking a few minutes where you do a stand-up, and those people will come together to talk about the challenges that you're having right now, making sure that you're getting to where you want to go. And if there's challenges, then people will get connected on how to help. You don't necessarily solve those challenges right in that huddle, because you don't want to take up everybody's time. But if you got one person having a problem and somebody else can help, then you've create that awareness, and then after the huddle, they go and work through things to keep pushing everything forward and trying to accomplish your goals. There's software applications that you could be considering. Basecamp has been popular over the years for creating alignment around teams. There's plenty of other ones out there right now, and not that you would want to work with. I won't give recommendations on software applications used, but I would think that depending on what you're trying to accomplish in your goals and objectives, you could find something that's going to help the interaction that you want to have with your team and with your people. Okay, so lots of good opportunity there to create alignment and to get people working together. I have a team in India, and I have my clients here in the U.S. So my team in India is having to be aligned with me and my clients to create the interaction of getting things done, getting projects done, and meeting deadlines and so forth. And that happens through the things I just talked about, having a regular daily huddle where we get alignment on where we are with the projects and interactions with the clients, which we may have a rhythm of meeting once a week with a client to update them on a particular project or the work that we them. If it's a client that just is always throwing work at us, we'll have a weekly meeting so that we can stay aligned, where the team in India, the client, and myself are all on that same call. So combination of those things you can look at to work through. Next question is from Alex, and Alex asked, what are your thoughts on profit-related pay as a performance-based salary? For context, we want to promote the assistant director at one of our child care centers to the head director at a different location. I'm sure profit-related pay is more incentivizing, but is it offering too much? If so, how much would you structure a performance-based salary when trying to grow and retain, or how would you structure a performance-based salary when trying to grow and retain customers? So there's a lot of complexity to this question. There's a lot of more info need to be shared and interacted on to create more context to what you're trying to, where you're trying to go with this. I'll give you some parameters and a little bit of experience on my end. First of all, when doing things like this, performance-based, you got to be very transparent about your financials. And with that, you can look at certain areas within the financials and determine what areas that it's going to be beneficial to be working on to create the results that you want to create. So a lot of people will look at something between gross profit margin and net profit margin to work on, and they will find line items in there that when certain levels or numbers are met and within those contextual lines, that they will provide a basis for improvement, which will then direct or relate to performance-based compensation. So I would suggest a couple things on this, though, because of the complexity. A book on this is a couple books actually written by the same author, The Great Game of Business by Jack Stack, and Stake in the Outcome, which gives more details about this. Jack took a manufacturing company, and when it was about ready to fall apart, he went out and got a bank loan, and the employees and him came together, and they bought the business from the owners that were getting ready to default on it. They took it over and they ran the business to great success and multiple times of growth opportunity, which made him and all the employees a lot of money and wealthy in most standards. So they have a coaching group within that. When you read, if you Google Jack Stack and The Great Game of Business, you'll find a bunch of things on the internet to review and look at that will give you some insight on doing performance-based compensation. And they actually have a group. If you can call the center at Great Game of Business, and they have coaches. And I've worked with one of those coaches before, so I set up a previous arrangement when I had a full team of people here in the U.S. And to get everybody on the same page, I worked within an environment that when we met certain metrics between after the gross profit margin and get us to a certain number, that the team would participate in the profitability of the company. And I used that. I put that in place at a time when after the 2008-2009 financial, the company was struggling, and because of the difficult environment, we never really got to the numbers we were shooting for to kick in the performance-based. So it didn't create the motivational aspects that I wanted it to do because of the struggles that we were having as a company and within the economy in general. So I know these things are attractive and they work, and within your world, having the differences between a couple metrics is important too. So if you have a performance-based metric, you want to make sure that you also have another metric that offsets quantity or quality of what you're trying to do with your company. You know, if for example you had a manufacturing plant and you were trying to set a metric for the number of pieces that would go through the plant, you want to make sure there's another metric that says the quality, that if you're just pushing through a lot of numbers, that you're getting things done and you're increasing your output. But if that's the result of quantity or quality of the product, it's going to be detrimental to your business and your reputation to your customers. So having the combination of some balancing metrics is key, and you can get some more insight in that within the coaching of Jack Stack's group. So very awesome stuff, and I would explore that. Next question is by Reginald, and Reginald asked, I am the only person in my company now, and I am the lead generator and appointment setter for my clients. I want to grow and get to 7 figures. If you were me, what steps would you take to get there? Well, Reginald, I would look at creating a repeatable, scalable process for your company. Okay, so I've been in your situation and kind of know what you're talking about. I want to make it to the next level, and I've been the one that have led in sales. So this question comes in context to me. So what you need to do is, on here, what I've done in my experience is to build a sales funnel. Okay, how is it that you're getting your clients? What are you doing to make those things, to put in place a process and to have that? So let me give you some examples. Like, do you use email to get your clients? Do you make sales calls to get your clients? Do you use LinkedIn to get your clients? And what is the process that you have in there that can be scaled so that with you and these other tools that you're using, you're creating a scalable process? Okay, if it's all about you and you don't provide abilities to grow and increase your arm of reaching out and getting more people and communicating, connecting with more people, it's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You'll typically find somebody that's in business like this, and they're out setting appointments, that they go back and they do the work, and then they get the client, they go do the work. While they were doing the work, they weren't marketing, and they go through a lot of ups and down cycles within their business. So going after that, going after an approach that balances and smooths out your process is going to be very, very important. Building the sales funnel, and then building sales automation. Okay, so the funnel would be like if you are doing a LinkedIn campaign, your process of you're sending out messages to connect with people in your target market. And target market is really very key here. So understanding who your target is and going after and sinking in on that target. And then once you reach out to that person in your target market, you start the process of reaching out. And then once they connect, and then the message that follows up after that to tell them about what you're doing or how you want to create value for them. And then from there, reaching out into getting an appointment that would lead to having them click on your calendar and set them up an appointment. So there's a lot of automation aspects that can help you a lot than, somebody who may have to have an assistant to set up appointments and calls and can put things on the calendar. So utilizing these tools are very important. And the sales automation would be once you got that client in your system, potential client in your system, that you've reached out, they may have engaged you in some way, that the sales automation continues to follow up. If you're a one-man person doing this, you don't want to have what happens is we forget, right? You go out and you're doing the calls, you may be doing some of the work that's in your environment or in your business world, and you are doing those things and you're not having success around it. So the success that you're having is going to be associated with your constant focus. And when you're distracted with other things, the sales automation software can allow you to continue to send out emails, reminders, updates, and engagements that would allow for you to have ongoing activity, people coming into the funnel, people coming in to help you get appointments to make things attractive for bringing in business. So let's go to the next question. Kelly asked, I'm having a challenge with finding my why. Have you done this exercise? How did you come up with your why? So I talked about Jim Collins before, and I would also recommend going to jimcollins.com. Okay, and in that site, he's got a lot of things there that's very educational and beneficial to figure out. As I was saying, Jim Collins' work is huge in helping us with our business world. If you go into the site and you go to tools, you can go into the vision framework. You click on tools and go down to the part that's got vision framework. Within the vision framework, he talks about things. It's a long PDF that talks about how to go about getting our core values or doing the exercises and things you need to zero in on what your core values are, your core purpose, and also the BHAG. And they got different examples of them, and it gives you some insight and overview. So I look at that when I do, going back to your why, is that when you align your purpose and your why can be very similar. In some cases, maybe a little bit different, but finding your purpose is getting alignment with your why. And in my case, my purpose and why for my company is discovering solutions that makes life better for all. Okay. And when we did that exercise 12, 14 years ago, it's what we determined after asking a lot of questions and connecting on this, having discussions and connecting and going back and forth, was that as a company, what we really liked doing was helping people with figuring out their problems and finding solutions with software to help rectify those problems. And with that, we realized we were all passionate about it. Ourselves as the leaders and efficients, when I had other people with me and the team, we were all excited about discovering solutions that would help them. So when we found that why, we synced around that why, and we shared our why with clients, and clients will tend to resonate with that. You can also go to Simon Sinek and watch his video that he has on inspiring leaders. So I thought I wrote that down somewhere. Let me see where that is. Yeah, his it'll come to me in a second. I'll share that with you. But how great leaders inspire action. That video is huge to talk about your why and seeing how, when you have it within a company, what it represents to everybody that's involved in a company and what it represents to your customers. And when your customers are aligned with your why, he used Apple as an example, and it's a huge, when you understand what that does and what it means, how it attracts people into your world, you're going to have a great understanding of why it's important. But helping you find your why would be using Jim Collins's work and then also asking yourself why 5 times. So Jim Collins talked about this in some aspects, and I'm always been a big why guy. I'm always asking why to this, why to that. And when you start asking, okay, I have a business, why? Okay, well, I do this in my business. Well, why? And when you keep asking and drilling down to at least 5 whys, you get deeper into what your why is all about. So that is an exercise that you can dig into that will help start getting meaning to it, and then some reflection. You're not going to find your why like immediately, but I would check that out. And also Simon Sinek wrote the book, Finding Your Why, which goes into exercise and so forth. So that's a very powerful book. Looking at Jim Collins from your company perspective, looking at your core values and your purpose, and then Simon Sinek's Finding Your Why is more. I remember looking at the book. I haven't read it all, but it's more, I think, around an individual why. So if you're looking for your company why, the Jim Collins work is very attractive. Following more of your personal why, Simon Sinek's work is very attractive. And then asking the question over and over, what is your the 5 whys? Why you keep asking it to dig deeper. So let's see. Question from Adam. Adam asks, this is a little bit of a longer question. My target market is independent financial advisors, and I'm trying to build up my database. I've scraped data from public sources, such as first name, last name, and years of experience. I have their emails, and since their corporate emails follow a pattern, here are the challenges. Addresses are sketchy because many of those people list the home office as their address. Not helpful. 2, Googling these people is time consuming and difficult. I don't know where many are actually based. And what I really want are the phone numbers. Question, are there any creative ideas on getting phone numbers, or is there just a brute force project? My sense is cold emails will have a very low response rate. Okay, so Adam, first thing I would look at is what you're doing is time consuming, and it is a way to get more detailed info behind a particular client. But looking at it from starting out and just doing a general search that way is going to take a lot of time. There are lists out there you can buy, and actually they're getting more cost effective, and you're coming from a lot of different sources. A lot of Indian people are doing searches and providing content using names, emails, phone numbers. So what you want to do is find a list company that can help you with that, give you the phone numbers, and may have more of a focus within the financial services arena. Actually, a product I'm working on is going to be targeting financial type people too, advisors and others. And so I resonate with this question. What I would do is, in doing that, because a lot of these lists can be like a lot of bad stuff in them, like it's old, outdated, people may not exist, the numbers may be bad, the emails may be bad, is to, when you're talking to these companies, is get a sample. Okay, say, okay, I'll buy something from you, but I'm looking for this respective area, financial advisors in this certain location, and I want to make sure I get phone numbers and so forth. Then get your, ask them to send a sample, and within that sample, you'll see the respective info, and you want to go through and you want to check on that sample to make sure that they're actually in business, that the emails work, and that you call some of them to see if these people actually have goes to the business that they're referencing. And from there, it's going to be a lot more cost effective and time effective for you to look at buying lists. Okay. Also would consider using LinkedIn. Using LinkedIn to go after this target and getting your message to those respective people. You said cold emails weren't good. Well, offering your services through LinkedIn and connecting to that respective target may be an attractive way to go. It depends on a few other variables, but and emailing these people may be an attractive way to go too. Really, the email, the LinkedIn, and the other sources are going to be dependent on the message you are sending them. Okay, if you're sending them a message that says that resonates with them and shows them that you're creating value for them, then they're going to want to talk. Okay, so if I'm a financial advisor, which I was in the past, so in regard to that, if I get a LinkedIn message from you and says, "Hey, Greg, I can save you lots of time with this process that I have on your regulatory filings and so forth." It's like, yeah, no, to me, I'm like, those filings are a pain, and if they can help me with that, that's going to be a big value creator for me. I need to explore this. Or, Greg, I know there's challenges in growing a financial services business. I can help you get clients. Okay, there's a lot of that going on right now, but that's going to be a value creation for me. So something in that space where they're going to either, I can help, hey, Greg, I can help save you time with your financial services business by such and such, such and such. So what is it? What's that message you're going to reach out to and resonate with them that it's going to hit them, and they're going to say, I need to read a little bit more here. And they read a little bit more. They'll maybe connect with you on LinkedIn, and then you can have a follow-up message of like telling them a little bit more about your service, and then the system would automate to send out another LinkedIn to ask for an appointment time, and you give them your link to your calendar, and they'll set an appointment. And a lot of that's happening on the back end. And for the other people that have asked similar type questions, that is a great way for to create scalability, and it's a great way to duplicate your efforts as an individual running a company that you may have to hire other people. And so there's a lot of aspects of processes and software and things in place now that will help out with that. So email can be attractive, but it's the right message. Okay, LinkedIn, and maybe potentially doing some things on YouTube, targeting, putting out content, video content, and other stuff, talking about what you're doing and getting exposure to people within that space. I'm doing a lot of work within the different products I have and marketing them and exploring all these different options. So I'll be talking to you more about that in the future as I get more experience with it. Okay, next question. Let's see. This is from Ariel, and Ariel asked, "My business will be a free software app that focuses on helping users pay off debt in a variety of ways. My team will soon have a mock-up of the app, and I want to figure out the best way for us to get the most valuable feedback. Should I focus on a small group to survey at first to give us feedback and then survey a larger audience after we've made some changes? Or should I just try to get feedback from as many people as possible right away so that we can get a good idea of what people want to see for features?" Okay, very good question to be asking now, because you said you have mock-up. That means you haven't gone out and built your application at this point in time, which is excellent, because so many people go out and build something that nobody wants or nobody's willing to buy, or for a variety of reasons. I've done it too many times to want to think about. So from my experience with this is that you want to create, there's prototype software out there. So you want to create a prototype. You said mock-up. So mock-up, prototype. Prototype would be a clickable alternative to a mock-up where you're just not looking at something, but you can actually click on certain screens and you can follow the process of what you're trying to accomplish with your application. That is going to be very attractive to get that exposed to a group of people. I would start out with a small sample, 3 to 5 to 10 people, okay? And I would get feedback. This could be like initially your friends and family network that you start exposing this to, that they're friends of yours, so they'll be courteous to give you some initial feedback. Once you get that feedback and you refine a few things relative to them, well, if they're thinking about it in their situation, if they had debt, would they want to use this app? So you're going to get some general feedback, but it's not going to be as good as the feedback that you're going to get from people who actually are your target audience. Okay, once you define who your target audience is, and you go and you find those people, you can reach out to that target audience, or if you know people that are friends of yours that are in the target audience, pull them in to offer them the fact that some incentive. So I'll give you free use of this for a year or forever if you help give me this feedback now, once I get this built. And with that, you can get insight from them, and you can help to build this out and also know the most vital thing here is to know if there's a real market for this product. Would you buy this service? How much would you pay for this service? If I actually had this launch right now, would you buy it? And what would you pay for it? And using that market research is going to save you a lot of time and money, big money, of going out and investing and spending whatever you're going to spend to build your application. Okay, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars that you have. This is a $5,000 application, a $20,000 application, this is a $100,000 application. And do you know that people are actually wanting to use this service before you build it? So huge thing to look at. Let's see, I had some other thoughts on here. The target market is key, like I said, and then I would pull in, once you've reached the target market, I would pull in the beta users and a group of beta users and offer them and get their feedback on the application, saying that you beta, give it to you for free, and what other incentives you can provide for them too. Sometimes people send out Starbucks gift cards and other things to help motivate people to actually put the time into something that they may not be all that excited about. But when you do find your target market, they are going to be excited about this because these are the people that need your product. So that's key of getting to them, allowing them to do beta, and using that information to evolve. Remember something, that people will want you to death in your software. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, I want that. You can create a list of 1,000 things that people will want. So focusing it down to a small sample of what you're getting the most of, and getting that refined so it meets the qualifications of your target audience. Okay, just one person over here may want something, but it's not going to resonate with your target and who you're going after. So you're adding something that could be confusing, could take away the ease of use, could do a lot of things because of this one person over here. So let's make sure that the features and the things that you modify and change based on feedback is appropriate relative to the people that you're actually going after. So next question, Rosalie asks, I'm a bookkeeper. I have a bookkeeping business, and I am the main owner and also the person who does most of the work. I'm having a challenge with knowing when and how to hire a salesperson to bring in more business. My question is, how do you know when is the right time to start building a team? I have much bigger goals, and I am fearful of spending the money not knowing it will have success. How do we overcome that fear and grow? Well, that fear is common in all of us. So you're right on expressing that fear, and it's a constant strain back and forth. I've dealt with it entire business career and continue to deal with it today, of like, when do I do this and when do I do that? And it's a lot of rationalization that goes into that. So a key thing here is to be aware of, and this is for everybody, is to make sure that you're working on your business and not in your business. Okay? What does that mean? It means that for me, from a personal experience, I have a software company, but I have no idea how to code. Okay? I'm a business guy that had an investment firm. I'm a business guy that has a software company. So I know business. I know how to interact with inner workings of business. I know how to relate with clients and do a lot of the things that help make a business happen. The actual aspect of the business I am is software. Well, that prevents me from working in my business. I mean, if I was working in it, I would be going to write the code. I'd go out and find a client, get that client, say, client, we can build this project for you. And the client agrees, and we sign off on a statement of work, and then I go and I start coding the project. Well, I'm working in my business, okay? You said you're a bookkeeper, and you are working with doing the work for your clients, it sounds like to me. And if that's the case, then the best way is to scale a business to make sure you're working on your business. And that means overseeing things, watching it happen, bringing back, the interactions with the clients, making sure they're happy, making sure that your people that's working are getting paid, making sure that you're working with the clients to get paid and sending out invoices and getting money there to make sure you pay all your other bills. So that's a key aspect to scale the business, is to make sure you're working on it as opposed to in it. Okay. There's a great book out there. It's called The E-Myth, and Robert Gerber, I think is his author's name. This book is legendary within the world of understanding processes and understanding working on or in it and setting up processes to scale and build a business. So you said you want to take your business to the next level. Taking your business to the next level is all about scalable processes. Okay. And he uses the term like McDonald's, that you want anybody with half a brain can work at McDonald's because they have so many processes in place that it doesn't require a lot of brains, or it doesn't require a lot of other things to make sure that business runs. If you put a person in front of the fryer, and when the French fries go in, there's a buzzer. You put the French fries in. There's another buzzer. You take them out, and all these things happen. There's so much salt that's put on each one, and it goes on down the line to creating the actual all these aspects that are going on within a business to actually get the output that's consistent and of high quality. So thinking about that is huge for making your business grow. The other stuff to think about are, right time to start hiring is relative to, there's that question, okay, like I've got somebody who's giving me work, and I know I need to have somebody come in to do the work, but I can either do the work and get paid the money myself, or if I pay somebody else, will I have enough left over? And one option is to do contract work, okay? So you find somebody that you feel, after talking to them, you feel confident that they can do this bookkeeping services that you provide. And knowing that the money you're getting paid, you can do the contractor and give them money, or give them the work and so forth, and pay them for it. And they're getting that, you're getting that work back, and you will receive the money from the client, and you keep the difference. That process is attractive to do on a contract basis because you are not paying them full time when you don't have work, and they are only there and used when you need them. So that is an opportunity for you. Okay, find a contract work. Maybe even I have some people do financial work for me out of India. Okay, I have a software team that is my own team, but I've hired other people in other companies that will do aspect of creating my invoices and doing other things for me at a more economic level, and I get that work done and I pay them for that. Okay, so I don't have to spend as much time doing it. It allows me freed up to do other things to work on my business and not in my business. So thinking about that and thinking about all the parameters around that is something that I would start with. And starting with on a contractor that you can give them the work to do this, and you can move forward and go out and get more business and give more work to a contractor until you are ready to bring on somebody full time. Okay, so it's steps, baby steps. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Is like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough business coming in that I hire this person that goes and does all the bookkeeping work. And if I don't have the business, then I'm paying that employee, or I have to let the employee go. Start with an outsourced, contracted type company or person that you can work with, and that could be a good approach. What else? That is all for that. Let's see. Those are all my questions. So anyway, let's see, final thoughts. Excited to be here with AO Nation and excited to be sharing and being a part of this process. Sean's bringing a lot of great mentors to educate and learn from. And as I always like to close out with my talks, is saying the power of mentorship and the power of being around other like-minded individuals. Okay, there's a principle or law out there called the law of conformity. You as a person are the vast majority of people that you hang out with. Okay, so if you're hanging out with 10 drug dealers, chances are you're going to be the 11th. Okay, if you're hanging out with 10 billionaires, chances are you're going to be the 11th. So what can you do to put yourself in an environment of hanging around like-minded people on a path to a direction that you want to go, and that's growing and scaling a business as being a part of this mentorship group. So what you're doing here is very, very recommended and very appropriate. Finding somebody that you can help you grow is huge. I have been in business for a long time, and I have done a lot of marketing things. I've done a lot of different types of investments in businesses. I still have a coach. I have a personal growth coach, and I have a what I call SaaS coach, software as a service, because I'm building SaaS products to create scalability around them. And I've got somebody who has more experience in that world than I do, and I'm using them to help me escalate and scale and get quicker results than I could get on the trial and error of doing this on my own. So being a part of AO Nation is phenomenal for that, and going out and reaching out to the mentors to get their help and other people in your specific world that you can attach to that's going to help you learn and grow from is going to be a huge way, one of the top level ways of getting to where you want to go. So with that, everybody take care. Hope you're doing well within this crazy, chaotic COVID-19 world we're living in. So keep pushing through and looking forward to our next conversation. Take care.